Hello and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi! Today's video is going to be talking about some sensitive issues with self-harm, unaliving, uh, inappropriate relationships, kind of a lot of that, yeah. So if you don't want to watch this, I completely understand. But it's not anything gory or anything like that. But if you're still here, then great. Just know that I don't mean anything by anything I say. It's just the film. And the film is Harold and Maude. Oh, excuse my throat. It's a 1961 film, I think, with Bud Cort and, yeah, Ruth Gordon. Ruth Gordon. Uh, it's about Bud Cort. He's Harold. He's in a very tumultuous relationship with his mother. He constantly craves her attention, and she is a complete and utter narcissist. Everything's about her, and so he does things to gain her attention, which means he pretends to commit unaliving several times. It is just pretending. He pretends to drown, he pretends to hang himself, he pretends to shoot himself. I think there's poisoning at some point. He also pretends to commit harikari, setting himself on fire. He's, you can see here, he's an absolute monkey. He, he's doing anything and everything just to get at his mother. Um, and he has to see a psychiatrist who is an absolute whack job. It's no wonder Harold is the way he is. He's also got, I think it's an uncle, um, who's totally lost the plot too. And they look at him as though he's the one that's crazy. Yeah, the whole thing, I needed a canvas that looked like a ukulele because it is a major part of the film. Well, it's it's really the end that it comes into play, but it's it is, yeah. I can't think of the word I'm trying to find. It's necessary. There you go. I thought I'm going to make it into an actual non-playing ukulele, not a real one, obviously, because it's made out of papier mâché. Basically, it's a tissue with glue and water stuck on top, and so I can make it crinkly. I like crinkly when I'm painting. It's the whole idea is that Harold goes to funerals for fun. Yeah, that's a strange kind of fun, but you know, but he's not the only one that does it. So does Ruth Gordon. Maud. Now, Maud is a little old lady, and she enjoys going to funerals, and she's decided that when she reaches her, I think it's 85th birthday, she's not going to be here anymore. She will take matters into her own hands and go the way she wants to go and not as nature intended. And her and Harold strike up a really good friendship, and she basically teaches him how to live rather than die. And all while they're getting closer and closer, his mother is getting stranger and stranger, trying to get him married off to this girl, that girl. He's not interested. To be fair, he wants to be left alone to get on with it, do what he wants. He buys this car, and no, sorry, she buys this car, gets rid of a hearse that he's got. So what does he do? He turns this little racing car into another hearse. Actually, I think it looks better. This sends his mother off the rails, so she decides she's going to try and send him to his uncle who's in the army, who's lost an arm, and this uncle's got this arm on a flap, so he can salute with a pull of a string. It's blooming hilarious. Oh, Maud helps him out here by making him look absolutely crazy. And you can see I've not let this dry. It's just wet through, but I'm too impatient. I just want, because I've got the idea in my head. It's got to be done. But I've the bit where he's trying to make himself look crazy. He ends up throwing what looks like Maud off the side of a castle wall. Well, obviously he hasn't. It's just a dummy. But the uncle thinks he's too crazy to be in the army and should not be near anybody. He's even, saying, "Oh, what gun can I use? Can I do this? Can I do that?" Oh, so that doesn't work. So his mother's like giving up at this point. She doesn't know what to do with him. But he's just a young lad. Look, pretending again. That's about the only thing I could show on here because I didn't want to be too insensitive. He's just a young lad that is in need of a role model to show him how to live, how to be happy. Because at the minute, he's absolutely miserable. But Maud shows him there's other ways of going about things and feeling free and just doing what you want. Only she does go over the top a lot. She steals the vicar's car from a funeral. She steals Harold's own car and gives him a lift in his own car. She steals a tree from out of the ground outside of the shopping centre. She steals a policeman's motorbike. And this is just, she's just a thieving little monkey. She's decided that her time's up and she's going to do what she wants to do. There is that's a dummy in the background being set on fire, but everybody thinks it's him and it's not. He walks into the door about 5 minutes later, and the girl runs off. It's just funny. It's a really funny film. I know it talks about a relationship between an older woman who's well 80 odd, and he's 18, because they do have a more than a friendship relationship, should we say. Um, but she's living life to the full. She's out there. She's doing what she likes, and all the way through, there's music from Cat Stevens. Now, he wrote all the music for the film. In fact, it's an album, and I'm dying to get this album. They've brought out an orange one and I think a yellow one recently, the vinyl, and I've loved this album ever since I was a kid. In fact, it was my mum's favourite artist, that and Meatloaf. Um, but I'd never admit it then. This is where he was trying to commit harikari. It's a retractable blade, but the actress is actually playing an actress. So she's like, "Oh, bravo, bravo," and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm not getting rid of that one that easy then." Um, it's a fantastic film, and Harold seems to think that the closer him and Maud get, the less she's likely to leave him. He's hoping that she'll live on and carry on because he's fallen for her. He's fallen in love with her, but I think he's falling for the idea of her really, and the fact that he's lonely. I mean, she she helped him get through himself. He was very closed off and didn't want to engage with anyone. But once he got to know her, he was coming out of his shell. He was smiling. He was dancing. He was becoming more human rather than this little robot that had to do as he's told. And there she goes. Look, off she goes with the vicar's car, and that's one of the first things she steals. Oh, I think she also steals a yellow umbrella. Whose umbrella was that? I can't remember. But there's pictures. No, there's not pictures. There's scenes where there's lots of sunflowers, and she loves sunflowers. And they also do a daisy chain in a graveyard while they're having a picnic. And what I mean by daisy chain is they pick daisies and make a chain with them, just in case anybody's unsure. And so I put sunflowers on this later and a daisy chain, or a daisy on the grass. Now, I printed this off and cut it out because I kept trying to draw it. I just didn't like it. But I also wanted to make this a mixed media piece anyway, so, card, paint, paper, pens. There's, well, again, everything but the kitchen sink thrown on it, because that's just what I'm like. But this film, I must have watched, oh God, 1,000 times. And I continue to watch and watch. It's a good pick me up. And again, I know it's all about fake suicide, unalivings, and inappropriate relationships, but that was the humour back then. And Ruth Gordon's just absolutely amazing. She's a phenomenal was a phenomenal actress. She could put you down with a one-liner and make you laugh your socks off with another. Just fantastic. And towards the end, they're just getting closer and closer, and it's like he doesn't want to be anywhere else but with her. And they have a night together. Oh, that picture there, it's a patch, and that's Cat Stevens, just in case nobody knew who we were. He's also known as Yusuf Islam. I'm using a lot of glue just to make sure it's stuck down. But again, none of it's dry. I'm just too impatient. I really should learn to just take my time. Uh, this is where she's nicked his car. Um, I'm putting I don't even know which bit this is called on a thingy, a ukulele, but it's in the middle anyway. And that picture I've got there, that's Cat Stevens. It was supposed to be a different angle than that, so you could actually see his face. Um, he's also known as Yusef Islam, but actually his real name is Stephen Dimitri Giorgio. I know this because my mother was a huge fan. To the point we had 6 foot posters in the living room on the wall of him and all kinds of memorabilia. In fact, I have books that he sent me, little children's books, a ring, but that's been lost years ago, and letters from his fan club. Um, he he wrote all the songs. It was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. My favourite album, I think, from them days. And it's called Harold and Maude. And this is where she's nicked off of the tree and the car. Um, and the policeman takes chase. He then catches up with them after they've put the tree somewhere it needs to be happy. Yes, I did say that. And because he's caught up with them, she decides then that, the bike, let's take the bike, we're going. And I think it's Tom Skerritt from Top Gun. It's the motorbike cop. And his face is absolutely brilliant. Oh, you can tell I like this film. It just makes me smile. Constantly makes me smile. And sob my heart out at the end. Even though you know what's coming. You can tell what's coming. You don't want it to happen. And this is the room with the sunflowers and the dancing, and it's all sweet. I mean, love has no boundaries. And a lot of people don't think that that sort of relationship would have been a good idea, but it's, who cares? As long as it's legal, who cares? People should just be happy. But yeah, towards the end, he realizes that she's done something and he rushes her to the hospital to try and save her, and he can't. And she didn't want that anyway. She didn't want to be saved. She wanted her last moments to be the happiest she's ever had. And she got it. She got what she wanted. And he's devastated. But what it's taught him is how to love, is how to be himself, and how to be free. And that's where the song, if you want to sing out, sing out. If you want to be free, be free. It's a brilliant song. Well, I'm going to shut up now because I've waffled on for far too long. But please do go and try and find this film. It is a really good watch. And I've probably just told you everything in it, so you know what to expect. But you know it's funny. So thank you for watching. And number one is next week, and I've already got my ideas flowing through my brain. So I will be posting on my community post as well for some ideas for the next theme, because I don't know whether to continue with films or do something else. So I will need people's help. If you liked what you've seen or would like to see more, then hit the like button, subscribe button, comment, all that nice stuff, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.